Hello everyone, Russ of Aquariumax here. I hope you're all staying healthy, staying safe. I thought I'd do a live stream starting with, being in front of the bioactive garter snake vivarium. You can see one of the snakes. Let's see. You can see when I'm right there? No, there are actually two of them right there. I don't know if you can see both of them, but I thought that would be kind of fun to do it here. I'm kind of liking how it's shaping up. The ferns are starting to grow in and it's looking good, so pretty excited about that. And I thought I'd bring this guy too, Mr. Skeletal. He weighed in at 355 grams the other day. He's getting pretty big. Still got growing to do, but he's starting to put on some size. So Giselle, Gemma, Reed, Itty Bitty Ladybug, and that reptile nerd. Hello. And welcome. Welcome all. I did start a little earlier today, and hopefully that's fine. The schedule is just kind of weird these days, but that way I can go up to right about 6 and still go a little longer than normal, which would be nice. Part of the reason for that is because I have some shrimp that I'm going to be, I'm drip acclimating them right now, and I'm going to have to release them into the aquarium, and I don't want to miss that. I need to check on them, so. Thoropod's Family Pet Adventure, Christine Carignan, is that how you say that? Moultrie Geeks, welcome. Good to see you all. Greetings, Captain Obvious. So yeah, hope everything's going well for you and all your critters during this COVID-19 experience, we can call it that way. Sort of a neutral way to refer to it, I suppose. Hello, Pokesaurus. Nice to see you here. My son was telling me about where you work now. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to tell the world, but I just think that's pretty neat. And Chubby Fish, hey, welcome. Good to see you. So, horrific dudes in the house as well. Ah, I bet. You know, Gemma, I love rats. I've had several rats over the course of my life, and really, really love rats. Probably my favorite rodent. Well, yeah, it is my favorite rodent. And definitely have enjoyed having rats over the years. Had some with the Himalayan or Siamese pattern. I had some half Rex Dumbos. My kids all had each of them had their own rat too, so love rats. And they're so personable. Family Pet Adventure. So we built a terrarium for our dairy cows, and now we never see them. How many do you have in there, and how big is it? It's only a matter of time. Oh, and Gemma has land snail eggs that just hatched. Which species? Are you talking about the acatinas, the really big, giant land snails? Yeah, rats are really awesome. Horrific dudes had rats too. And Reed, it sounds like. Pokesaurus. I love it. Yeah. Ran to some computer so fast. I made something fall off my wall from the wind I kicked up. I'm going to have to tell him that. Unless you already have. That's cool. So, Family Pet Adventure. 10 gallon, and how many you got in there? Because I have, mine are in my, well, I have them in various places, but my largest enclosure for my dairy cows is about the footprint of a 10 gallon, maybe a little bit less, but they're all over it. So I'm thinking it's just a matter of time once you get them breeding. Okay, 10 and a lot of babies. I think then Family Pet Adventure that it is a matter of time with just the babies. They will eventually get to the point where you're going to see them everywhere. And rats are not the easiest rodent to keep, just partly because they're bigger and need more space and make a little bit more mess than some others, but I think they're worth it. Whenever anybody asks me about pet rodents, that's my go-to, because when I was a kid, I kept hamsters and bred hamsters. I had mice for a while. I had a gerbil that was like an adoption and things like that. So, I've kept various ones, and I've also kept, even though they're not rodents, I kept rabbits too, and I really just love rats. I think they're my favorite out of all of those, hands down. And Slav Pepe, I think you're right. And cool, Theropod's got a new YouTube video up. Excellent. Yeah, anything with protein in them, and you'll see them come out and do that. That's true. You got 6 count of pea scabbard about 2 weeks ago. When should I expect the offspring? For Andre Pugliese. Let's see. Well, assuming that they are mature, you could see some today. I mean, it's very possible because a female could be carrying a marsupium full of manke, but it could be a couple of months. And I've noticed with my isopods, I have received isopods that had manke en route to my house, so that I opened up the deli cup and found there were manke everywhere. And I've had some that took a while. Like when I first got my zebra isopods, they were about reproductive age when I got them, I think. And I got them in, I want to say it was June or July, something like that. And I didn't see any manke until November. So you never know. But now I see manke all the time. I mean, I never look in there and don't see them. They're always there. So yeah, that's the one thing about rats, Horrific Dude. You do have to clean up after them quite a bit because they're a little messy that way. And that's about the only downside. And Moultrie Geeks, oh, your dairy cows took 6 months. I remember you telling me about that. It took them a while before you started to see them a lot. And all isopods are like that to some extent. And dairy cows probably, it just depends on the size of the enclosure and how many you get and all those things. But it does take a while before you're going to see them everywhere all the time. Yep. Yeah, Gemma, that's right. And you know, the first rat I got when I was a kid, I didn't know much about it, and I got one. But after that, we've gotten always one or more at a time, so that they can have friends. I think that's important for rats, if you can possibly manage it. Oh, your gerbil, Captain Obvious, is the most personal animal you've had. That's cool. Oh, the place you work has a monitor lizard over 18 years old. That's awesome. So we've got some votes for gerbils. Moultrie Geeks loves gerbils too. And the only one I've ever had was the one I had when I was a kid, and it was cool, but I didn't know as much as I do now, and I probably didn't give it as much attention as I should have, to be honest. Hello, Heather Jensen. Nice to see you here. Let's see, Horrific Dude, there's an explosion of the springtail population in my isopod enclosure. I'm still waiting for isopods to reproduce. Well, the fact that your springtails are doing so well is a good sign, of course, and probably means your isopods aren't too far behind. Larry West got 3 baby corn snakes born 3 weeks ago, and I can't get them to eat. Does anybody help me? Well, you know, I, of course, have kept this corn snake for a while now. It's been over a year and a half or so. But he was eating when I got him. So I can't give you any, let's say, personal experience. I wish I could, but I can't. So there's got to take anything I say about baby corn snakes getting to eat with a grain of salt. But I have gotten reptiles of various sorts to eat, including snakes when they didn't necessarily want to, but not necessarily corn snakes. But there are a lot of things you can do with the pinkies. One of them, people actually wash them off with a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and of course rinse it very well. Sometimes that'll get them to do it, but there's a lot of funny things you can look up. So I would look up some of these things, but one thing you can try to do is put them in a deli cup in a paper bag, or just put them in the paper bag with a pinky and let them sit there for an hour or so and see if they eat it. Because sometimes it seems to help them focus. With a deli cup, the idea is they're going around and around the deli cup, and they're eventually going to bump into it and decide that they want to eat it. And putting it in a paper bag sometimes just removes all visual distractions. So those are a couple of options you can try and see how that goes. But there are lots of others too. Honestly, people sometimes scent the pinky with a little bit of tuna or Kentucky Fried Chicken, if you can believe it. It's There's some funny stuff out there, but a lot of them seem to work. So Andre, you're saying the dwarf whites? Yeah, dwarf whites breed really, really quickly if they're nice and warm. And some of the larger ones take a little longer, but your peacekeepers should get going pretty soon. And Heather Jensen's been working on a recent experiment with P. laevis orange and dairy cow. Hasn't seen babies or anything, which makes sense because it's just started, but hanging out together, and that's good. Yep. I've even seen my orange and whites mating. I caught that on Instagram actually a while ago, which was pretty cool. So we know that they will attempt to mate. But getting babies out of them is apparently fairly difficult. But we're working on it. A lot of us are working on it, so we'll see. Hey, Crystal, welcome. Oh, Gemma, your rat getting over 4 hours of playtime with you a day. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. I think that's a pretty good situation for a rat. So the kingdom of animals, required to keep springtails with your isopods? Not required. Encouraged, certainly. It's recommended. They definitely help out with a lot of things. They'll help provide a cleanup crew. They can help outcompete things like mites and fungus gnats. Especially if you get a colony of springtails going early on in your culture. So I would recommend them. They can help keep mold from becoming a problem, but it's possible to keep them without them. Whoa, yeah, Captain Obvious, yeah. I know what you mean. As kids, sometimes we don't have the responsibility we develop later with critters, that's true. Okay, so they're just garden snails. That's cool. I remember keeping some garden snails years ago as a kid. They were an introduced species from Europe. Cornu aspersum, I think, is the species. Kept that one. And really liked, that was fun. I did that when I was a kid. I liked those. So Pocosaurus, you have 2 bull snakes named Squiggles and Wiggles. Awesome. Bull snakes are pretty cool. I like bull snakes. If I were going to keep a large Native American, native to North America, colubrid, that would be one that I would keep. Something larger than a corn snake is what I'm saying. That would be one of my options. For sure. They're really cool. They do have a bit of an attitude often, but they're cool. Bailey's Pets, welcome. And thank you, Aquaballs. I love this corn snake. He got him when he was a little guy, 50 or 60 grams, but he hadn't gotten a lot of food for a while. He had been fed about half the frequency he needed to be fed. And so now we have been working with him for over a year now, and he has put on a lot of weight. Went from about 50 or 60 grams to 355 and still going. He's still got some growing to do. Okay, thank you. I do like his color too. He's pretty cool. I think he's hypomelanistic. That's what we figured out. And Mr. Badger, plan on getting a Kenyan sandboa as my first reptile. I hope I can convince my grandparents to allow one in the house. They aren't very scary, all things considered. That's true. Kenyan sandboas are pretty inoffensive. So hopefully that you can get that to work. Because the Kenyan sandboas are pretty cool. I mean, they're pretty hard to beat as a fairly simple snake to care for. Don't need a lot of space, especially if you get a male. And yeah, Crystal, springtails with isopods and millipedes. Highly recommend both of those. So, Kingdom of Animals. I just breed springtails and actually sell them myself, but I can't sell them out of state anymore. I have to get a permit first. So, some other sites you can get them from. Bugs in Cyberspace is a good one. They always have springtails. Any dart frog supply place will have them. So, yeah. Reed is breeding the trumpet snails. Yeah, I've got some trumpet snails in with my Ophiula shrimp. I've got some in with my multis as well, and I also have assassin snails. Okay, so the Pokesaurus, the place where you work, has the bull snakes, turtles, and a monitor lizard. It's got to be a pretty fun place to work, I gotta say. And let's see. So Heather Jensen's snail, hitchhiker snail, had babies in her Victorian Wardian case. Cool. That's a cool kind of terrarium, the Wardian case. Very cool. Let's see. And their box turtle is awesome. One of my favorites. Multi-Geeks. Tony almost ready to let me get a corn snake. I say almost because things can and will change. Well, it's kind of hard to not fall in love with these guys when you see them, you know what I mean? They are so docile, so beautiful, and just so easy. I can't believe how easy snakes are. You know, I thought crested geckos are easy, and they are. Crested geckos are super easy. We've had crested geckos a lot longer than we've had snakes, but these, in terms of cleaning up after them, you only have to clean up after them once a week, and then once a month you do a deep clean of the enclosure. You have to clean out the water dish more often, at least a couple times a week, but they, so easy, eat once a week. Very, very cool. We see the zebra pillbugs. Okay, let's see if I can make that work. It's a little bit tricky to do when I've got things set up like this, but I can try to do it. Let me see if I can do it. I think I can make it work. So Captain Obvious, I've kept assassin snails before, definitely underrated, especially as a solo on it. 3 or 5 gallon of lava rock and carpeting plants. I could see that being really cool. Okay, that's what, Family Pet Adventures, that's where you got your springtails. Cool. I bet it is, Pokesaurus. I think that's super cool. Oh. Gemma, your mom says the snakes can't love you back. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like they do in their own way. It's not the same as a dog does. But, you know, they do... I think they respond to things. I think sometimes they appreciate the tactile stimulation, things like this. You know, they seem to like to be scratched under the chin, probably because it's itchy. They're probably not thinking of it as affection, but most of my snakes seem to like to be just gently rubbed under the chin. And, you know, this little guy was kind of head shy when we first got him, but obviously he's not head shy anymore. So they do learn to respond to some degree. And Reed, we will do some isopods. Just a minute. It's hard to do isopods. I've got this stuff set up, but I'm going to try. Okay? I'm going to see if I can get it to work here. I'm going to actually... You can check out these snakes for just a minute while I put this guy back in his enclosure for the moment. He's got his tail tangled around the cord to my microphone, so it's going to take a second. Sorry. He does that sometimes. He loves to wrap his tail around stuff. Okay. There you go, buddy. Don't cry. There you go. I know. Okay. Now, it's a little bit harder to do this because I don't have my extension on my mic. But we're going to try. I'm going to try to make it work. Okay, so just bear with me while I'm switching cameras around and stuff, because that's going to be messy. It's going to be messy for just a minute here as I try to make this work. But I'll be right with you. I'm still here. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, anybody. I'm getting you set up here. I'm gonna look at the isopods here in a minute. Just getting the a lot harder than it sounds, believe me, to get this working. But I'm doing my best. Okay, hope we don't lose everybody in the live stream while I'm trying to get this going. I've got Okay, let's see if that'll work for us. Shall we? Okay, sorry folks, that was messy. But we're going to look at some isopods now. Oh, look at those zebras right there. Got a lot of zebras isopods. Let me catch up a little bit. So, there you go. For those of you who asked about isopods and zebra isopods specifically, here are a few of them. So, Andre Pugliese is infanticide common with multis. A male in my tent got harassed to death by another male, and his former mates turned aggressive towards their offspring. Your channel inspired me to get them. That's not something I've seen, but multis will do a lot of weird stuff. And I think multi behavior is somewhat individualized. I mean, territoriality, yep, they have it, for sure. But individual multis are going to do individual things, I think, to some degree. And so you're probably going to get some enough variation in individuals that it's hard to generalize to some degree. Okay, catching up here. Mr. E. Flynn got giant canyon isopods molting today. And you're right, Chevy fished a lot of variety in corn snakes in coloration and pattern too. So aquaballs, you like rosy boas better than canyon sand boas, huh? It's my husband to give my domino roaches for anniversary, but I forgot I fooled him into thinking they were beetles, not roaches. My plan is foiled. He said, absolutely not. No, they do look a lot like beetles, that's true enough. Oh, let's see. My spotted python definitely doesn't love me back because 7 bites seems to imply that. So Max Stefan, what type of snake would you suggest for a first snake? Well, corn snakes are an awesome choice. Let's see, I'm going to grab a couple more isopods over here, just trying to decide what to pick. Okay, I got an idea. I'm gonna, oh, where did sorry, I'm tripping over things. I've got a lot of stuff going on in here. Oh, that hurt. Okay, let's see what we got going in here. If I can, this one is my attempt at breeding isopods, 2 different color variants of Porcelio laevis. So far, nothing. These have been together for a long time, since the first ones I put in there were very little, and you can even see a couple mating there, but they're not, even though I've seen yellow and orange, or orange and white ones mating, I have not succeeded in seeing any wild type offspring at all. But they're still cool. So Matt, back to your question. Corn snakes are one of the best. Garter snakes are one of the best. Those are some of the best ones to look into. They're not, by any means, not the only ones you could choose, but some of the best options. And those are the ones I can speak with experience about. Let's see. Trying to catch up. Let me see if I can find a ducky or 2 theropods. And Jordan, hello! Good to see you on the stream. And I'm glad that your brother let you borrow his phone. That was nice of him. Say thanks to your brother for me, for doing that for you, letting you use his phone. And Wally's in the house. Nice. Okay, I'm taking a look here. I see there's a ducky. Try not to move things around too much and upset anybody, but just found a ducky. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this ducky to move around. Not getting a lot of... Let me see. I'm trying to fix the light here. I think when I bumped into stuff, I sort of unplugged the light, one of them. And it's not working all that well for me now. Huh. Well, we can try this. Let's try that. See if we can get the ducky visible here. There's a ducky. Check it out. Everybody likes the duckies. And RJ is out of crickets. Yeah, the only thing to do now is order them online pretty much, which is expensive but doable. It's often cheaper in terms of individual crickets, but you have to pay the shipping. Let's see. Some Titan isopods. Any tips for Matt on taking care of isopods I caught outside of the tank, feeding, etc.? Well, I've got a couple of videos on that, but just in general, make sure you have a moist side in the enclosure and a dry side. Make sure they have hides. Make sure they have plenty of safe decaying hardwood leaves and some decaying hardwood and some calcium. Feed them with supplemental foods like fruits and vegetables, protein items like fish food pellets and things like that, and they should do well for you. They're pretty easy to get going if you can follow those rules. I remembered most of the basics. I'm gonna put the Titans up here, the Hoffman's A guy, and we'll take a look at those guys. All right, here we go. What advice would you give someone planning to get a camel spider? Well, they don't really do very well normally. So my advice would be to maybe reconsider keeping one just because they don't seem to do well at all. For most people, I mean, I would say if you're going to do it, talk to Bugs in Cyberspace, because Peter at Bugs in Cyberspace has had one for the longest that I've ever heard of anybody having one. He's had one for something like 9 months now, and it's doing okay for him. So that's pretty amazing. And I don't know what he's doing that's different, but he's figured something out. Yeah, I lost that light. I don't know what's going on with it. It's really not working for me. That's what happens when you trip over stuff, I guess. Let's just see. I'm going to see if I can find a larger one in here. I'm not seeing any real huge ones right now. I mean, they're big isopods, but I don't see any really big adults at the moment. You know, there's a male, but it's not fully grown by any means. It jumped off. So Joshua Zavala, do you have any zebras available so I can my lone wolf zebra new home with some friends? Sure, I have lots of zebras available. I've got 2 enclosures with lots of zebras in them. So yes, we can do that. Let's make it happen. Just shoot me an email and we'll get it going. The centipede right now is brumating, unfortunately, or is buried under lots and lots of substrate right now, so can't really disturb her. But let's see. Oh, and thank you, Family Pet Adventure. I do have limestone with my duckies. I've got several pieces in there with them. Yeah, Pocosaurus, they're super cool looking, but I've had only limited experience attempt, but yeah, I haven't been able to get them to really eat or anything. So I've sort of given up on trying to keep them. They're super cool looking though. Let's see. I'm going to pull out these guys because they're fun. These are the lottery mix. I love the way that there's so many different colors. Praying mantis, oh, they make very good pets. And Crystal still has her jumping spider. Awesome. I've got one too. Right now, a male who is very funny. He prefers moths over anything. So waxworm moths, meal moths, those seem to be his favorite food. He will kill flies, and I think he eats them. But he loves the moths. I almost feel like he kills the flies because he doesn't want them buzzing around in there. And yeah, the only deal with praying mantis is that they don't live all that long, but they're super cool. Let's see, we got some under here. Oh, that one just molted. We got going on under here. Yeah, I love the lottery mix, they're fun. All right. Mr. Badger. Shame almost nobody breeds water snakes. Maybe one day I can breed some very pretty snakes with much potential to make pretty enclosures. You know, I don't have any experience with water snakes, but it sounds cool. Bumblebee millipedes. Let's see if I can get that far across the room with my microphone without tripping over something. Let me try it. Let's see. Oh, I see some babies in here. Oh, there's some juveniles. There's a couple of almost adults here. There's lots of babies in there. I'm kind of at the point where my population is mostly juveniles and babies, but here are a couple of sub-adults, I guess I'd say. They got their color already. They're fun ones. Super beautiful millipedes. Okay. Oh, Crystal, I hope those egg cases do well for you. Have you seen horned darkling beetles? They look like the diabolical ironclad beetles. I don't think I have, but I'd love to. Sounds cool. Yeah, I've had giant Asian mantis, a couple of giant Asian mantises, and then the Chinese mantis. Those are the species that I have. So Max, how many different species do I have? Of just species in general, of all the kinds of critters that I have? Not sure. Should count. So, Miss Kell, I have a question about mourning geckos. One of them goes very gravid and his nose rubbing recently. I'm wondering if she's just doing it because she's uncomfortable. Any experience with this? That's not something I've encountered yet. I've had very gravid females, but I've never seen the nose rubbing thing. So, not sure. Like rubbing the nose against the inside of the enclosure, or is that kind of what's going on? So, yeah, that might shed a little bit of light on it. Not sure. Oh yeah, the communal ghost mantis. That I would love to do that sometime. You want to see some rubbing your nose on the inside of the enclosure. That does sound like a little bit of a stress response if it's excessive. So it could be that she is uncomfortable. I'm not sure. Not something I've seen though. All right, I'm grabbing the Hiltonius millipedes, taking them out here. Got to move some leaves. I see a few babies here. Let me put the lottery mix down and see what we've got here. There's some little ones up at the top. Need adults up at the top. I don't want to, that's dangerous. The other day I found a pretty big one up at the top. Just babies right now. You can see 6 or 8 or 10 little baby Hiltonius millipedes up at the surface. They're about 1 centimeter long. Oh, nope, there's an adult. Maybe it'll come up, huh? Okay. Oh, Captain Obvious, you did that with the ghost mantis, huh? Yeah, the water snake sounds interesting. Oh, that's an alarm I need to check on my shrimp, which I can do from across the room here, but I need to set another alarm to check on them again in a little while. So I'll do that. Oh, okay, well this one's coming out, this Hiltonius millipede. So far I haven't noticed them getting really huge, but they seem like they get not quite as big as an ivory millipede, but still a decent size. This one's quite a bit shorter than some of the others that I've seen. They're a pretty stocky millipede for their length. Let's see. So yeah, maybe I would like water snakes. And millipedes are awesome. Were you bit by your centipede once? I've never been bitten by any centipedes that I've kept. When I was a kid, I got bit by a couple of centipedes. I think they were just the stone centipedes, the Lithobius millipedes, or centipedes, sorry. But I'm not sure because it's been so long. They might have been some small polymorpha. I'm not entirely sure about it. But yeah, not a fun thing to be bitten by for sure. All right, well, my time is just about up. I've got some hungry snake mouths to feed right over here. They're looking around. They're thinking it's about time to eat. So I'm got to feed all 4 of the snakes, and got to get those shrimp acclimated more. So all right, well, it's about time to head out. So thanks for joining in on the stream, and be sure to drop by on Friday for my newest video. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and see you soon.